Hello, it's Ruby, and today I'm just going to be filming a chatty life update video slash Q&A because I do find questions are a very good way to guide Q&A videos, to guide life update videos, because otherwise I just end up talking about a load of rubbish. I still do find, just as a caveat before starting this video, I find Q&As very bizarre. It's strange to think that people are interested. Like sometimes when I get questions coming through, a very weird feeling to kind of know that like people want to know that. So I don't know, if you asked a question then thank you, because I felt very grateful reading these questions. It's like someone asking how you are, right? I don't know when somebody last asked you how you are, and I'm going to ask you now, how are you? Are you okay? Because being asked a question is actually incredibly intimate, and there's a level of care in asking a question, and so thank you everyone who did ask me a question. I'm very grateful for you, I'm very grateful for this community, and just broadly, before I say anything else about kind of this term, I've felt so like overwhelmingly just, I've been inundated. The level of support, the level of like kindness, and the number of lovely comments, it's actually overwhelming, and I just want to say that I'm very grateful to you for that. Also, I never plan ahead of Q&A or life update videos, and I'm already rambling and I'm really sorry. And actually my final essay of the term isn't in yet. It's in on Thursday at noon, and it's currently about 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, and it's finished, but I haven't done the referencing, which always takes longer than you think. Like all the links are there, I just need to actually do the referencing and then do that final mad rush where you run through the essay. So all I'm trying to say is that it doesn't feel like the term is over yet because I haven't got this essay submitted. So it's a reflection on the first term, but it also is coming slightly from within the first term. And actually, I mean, I'm not sure if you can tell, I am slightly on edge and slightly stressed about this essay. But one thing which has been helping me to keep it at bay is doing meditation. That's actually why Headspace is a very good fit for this video, and particularly for me to talk about now, because I've been using Headspace a lot over the last week, trying to just stay on top of academic stress. I've got to say that I wasn't necessarily, and I'll talk about this in a second, but I wasn't necessarily expecting myself to go back to that level of stress around an assessment. But I have found myself doing that. Headspace has been very useful. So Headspace, I'm sure you know about Headspace. I feel like everyone knows about Headspace. It's just wonderful. It's an app where you can do guided meditations. And a guided meditation, at least I find, is good when you actually need the meditation. If I'm feeling stressed, I find it hard to do a breathing exercise, which isn't guided. Meditation obviously has so many benefits for your mental health and your physical health, and there's been a lot of emerging research around this recently. I'll leave some articles linked down below if you do want to learn a bit more. I personally like to do a quick meditation in the late afternoon because that's when I tend to get most stressed. So I do the same one actually most times, just because it works really well for me, and I would recommend this one. This particular one is my favorite. I love the person's voice. It's really calming. It's the Quiet Your Mind meditation. And then I'll also sometimes do one before bed because I don't always sleep that well, and I'll definitely do one tonight, for example, because I am feeling slightly stressed. There are specific sleep meditations on the app, and this is a great way just to get your mind ready for sleep. I'm a big believer in investment when it comes to routine, and investing 5 minutes into a meditation or 15 minutes into a meditation before bed, it's so worth doing, because that could stop you from lying awake for an hour. So going to bed 15 minutes later and doing a meditation, I would prefer that to going to bed 15 minutes earlier and then lying awake for ages. So if you do want to try Headspace, then you can get 60 days for free if you click on my link, which is really cool actually. 2 months for free of Headspace. Having said that, I'm actually going to talk to you about mental health a little bit and that academic stress that I mentioned before, because a few people did ask about this and ask how my mental health has been since being at Oxford, because I took a year out from education. I graduated in 2022 and then I took a whole year out, and being outside of the education system definitely gave me a great I think it gave me a level of perspective around academics. But what I've realised, and what's kind of been quite strange, but I have found myself drifting back into getting worked up about assignments. I kind of told myself, oh, you're not going to get stressed this term, you're not going to get stressed. But that's a very unrealistic thing to say to myself, and actually reflecting on it now, I don't think that's necessarily good advice. You can't tell yourself don't get stressed. I had a teacher once tell me, it's my teacher from when I was in year 4, and she told me this when I was much older. She said, if you're nervous about something, then it means that it's important to you, so it's a good sign if you're nervous. And it's always stuck with me. Honestly, I say it to myself multiple times a week. And so I know that the reason I'm getting I'm worrying about this essay so much is because I care about it, and I care about like doing well on it. If you do find yourself getting stressed, it means that you care about it, which actually is a good thing. So maybe the answer is, and I don't necessarily know how we do this, but channeling that, like the fact that you really care about this, just kind of channeling that in a more positive way. And I don't know how you do that, but I sometimes do find that like focusing on the fact that this is important to me is helpful. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm actually gonna go into questions now though. I'm gonna start with YouTube as well, because I always go with Instagram and then I forego the YouTube ones entirely. How much studying did you do per week on average? Linda asks, and a few people did ask this one. And it's really hard to quantify, honestly harder than at undergrad. Oxford's quite an academically immersive environment. There are lots of lectures, lots of like extra seminars that you can sign up for and go to. And I've been really trying to do that, like going to plays, going to concerts and yeah, like guest lectures and talks, because I really want to make the most out of that like really intense 8-week term. And so that doesn't count as studying, but a lot of it is related to my degree. So that, I think it kind of blurs the boundary, and it depends what you mean by studying. Because also at master's level, we do have set work and there are, you know, set readings that we need to do, but so much of it is self-guided because we're working on our dissertations independently, all of us, and all of that research is just completely self-directed. But also with my dissertation is something I'm really interested in, and so I've kind of been reading around my subject anyway. I don't know, it's really hard to like judge whether something is studying or not studying, and I'm sorry, that's the most abstract, like annoying answer to that question. How does it feel going back to studying after a break? Honestly, I've loved it. I really missed it, and I didn't realise how much I'd missed it till I was back. It has been hard work, but it's the kind of work that I just love, and it doesn't feel like work. I'm just learning and I love that. So yeah, it's really nice to be back, but I am glad that I took the time out, because I do think it was good to take that year out, and I would recommend taking a year out if you can. Did you make a lot of new friends? And that's from Amelie. So thank you, Amelie, first of all, for your question. But yes, I did actually, and I'm not the kind of person who like has a lot of friends, or I maybe find it quite hard to make friends. I think you've seen pictures of my friend Holly. Holly also has a YouTube channel. We spent a wonderful day in London last week, which was lovely. I've met some really lovely people, and I feel very lucky to have met those people, especially in such a short like period of time. What aspect have you found the most challenging in socializing or relating with other students? I don't know, I also really don't want to give advice, because I don't know if I'm the best person to like give advice on socializing and making friends, because there are people who like have a lot more friends than I do and make a lot more friends. But as an introvert and as somebody who find socializing quite draining most of the time, I would say just kind of be like careful with yourself if you're the same, and don't put pressure on yourself to always be socializing. You can make friends and not be socializing every single day. How would you compare your undergraduate accommodation to your master's accommodation? That's an interesting question. I love my master's accommodation. It's so nice, like it's so nice, honestly. I still can't believe that this is my room, but I do really miss living with Blakeney, and it doesn't feel as homely as Exeter did, because we were living in a house, but I really love my accommodation. This is a really good question, and I'm actually really glad that somebody asked this. Bryony asks, do you think as a master's student who has already experienced university as an undergraduate, you are better equipped to cope with the pressure associated with Oxbridge? I only ask because you seem like you've really grown in mental resilience, so maybe now was always meant to be your time to be there. honestly, like back when I got rejected from Oxford for my undergraduate, because I did get rejected from Oxford, I was devastated. It's now, as I kind of look back, that I'm really glad that everything happened the way that it did and that I was rejected at undergraduate, because yes, Oxford is a very intense environment, and if you want to put a lot of pressure on yourself academically, and kind of expect yourself to perform to a certain standard, which isn't a bad quality, it's very high pressure. And I think that I'm making much more of it, and that I'm in a better place to kind of glean something from it, from the experience, being here now when I'm quite a bit older as opposed to when I was 18. Like genuinely, and I've said this before, I am glad that I got rejected at undergraduate. I love Oxford so much. Like I can't tell you how much I love the city, how much I love the culture, how much you know, I love the access to libraries and the tutors and just everything about it I adore. But also I'm glad that things happened the way that they did, and I think that the rejection also helped me gain very important soft skills in just dealing with failure, which I hadn't really had to experience before, but I've filmed whole videos on that in the past. Is the pressure to perform really as hard as everyone says? You seem so relaxed during your videos. The pressure feels much more internal, you know, everyone just cares a lot and everyone's working hard and everyone is very intelligent. And so like there is a certain standard that you're kind of like trying to keep up with. That's what I find. I don't know, but I do think it's more of an internal pressure, because in my experience the tutors aren't you know, they're not really pressurizing. They're quite relaxed and very human. Have you felt any pressure to be out drinking or socializing a lot, or does that just depend on your friendship group? Totally depends on your friendship group. I'm pretty sure it's 10% of students don't drink, but it's probably more than that because I read that statistic like 5 years ago. Quite a few of my friends actually don't drink, and also I'm on a master's program, so I feel like the culture isn't quite so drinking heavy as maybe it is at undergraduate. Would you recommend doing a gap year before going to university or doing a master's? I don't know which one, like kind of up to you, but definitely try and take a gap year if you can. We're in work and we're in education for so much of our lives, so to try and take that year when you don't have loads of commitments would be is amazing if you can. You started to learn Latin before going to Oxford. Do you have time to continue? Did you join a Latin class? I did join a Latin class actually. Not that any of my Latin preparation last year helped at all. I'm not very good at Latin. No, you can't manifest. Language is powerful. The words that we use are powerful, and so I can't tell myself that I'm bad at Latin because that would just make me worse. But yeah, I feel like the preparation I did actually didn't end up being that useful. I started a Latin class, which is it's like a beginner's Latin class that was offered to English students studying early modern and medieval literature, and it's just an hour and a half a week, so not very long, and then we get homework. Like, and it has been fantastic for giving me a grounding in Latin grammar and language, but I'm planning over Christmas to really focus on gaining some Latin, and I'm planning on taking private Latin classes over the Christmas holidays so that I can up my ability to read Latin, because it will be quite useful for my dissertation and research. And also it's like literally on my life bucket list. Love this question. Jeanette asks, sorry, it keeps on going blurry. How did you manage without your teapot? I don't know. I don't know how I got through those 2 weeks without my teapot. But my parents actually came to visit because they were driving through Oxford, and so I insisted that they bring this beauty with them, and now all of my life dreams are complete because I have a beautiful teapot to make loose leaf tea in. Oh, I was going to make myself some tea for this video and I completely forgot. Oh well, I'm probably only going to do like 2 more questions because my camera's running out of battery, and I also want to get on to doing some work on this essay. Do you get imposter syndrome at Oxford? Yes, I do. How have you found reading for pleasure versus reading for your course? Do you find that now you're doing a master's in a passion subject for you, that you have a lot of crossover between required or recommended and fun reading? P.S. so thrilled for you to have achieved this dream and wishing you a Merry Christmas. And that's from Harriet. Thank you, Harriet. Sorry, that's such a lovely message. Again, as I say, everyone's just so lovely in this community. Thank you. Yes, I mean, yeah, definitely that overlap is it's so hard to distinguish. Because it crosses over so much, especially because I did a decadence literature module this term, which had loads of Oscar Wilde and like Walter Pater on it, and I love those writers. Loads of these books that were on my TBR to read for pleasure, I was just getting to read for my module. The same with early modern. I've been able to read like so much Milton and early modern poetry. I am still trying to read kind of books that are non-related to my period as well, but I'm not reading those quite so much, and honestly the books that I want to read do tend to be related to my course anyway. You're so right, Harriet. What's your favourite library to study in or just to relax? I love the Radcliffe Camera and the Taylorian. What are some of the best books you've read on your courses? I loved reading Walter Pater's The Renaissance. I think that's probably the best one that I read on my optional module, and I loved reading Katherine Phillips's poetry. Oh my gosh, it's excellent, like it's just exquisite, and there's been some renewed critical interest in her. We're starting to look more at female poets from early modern England, but for so long they've just been completely disregarded. This exceptional poetry. Katherine Philips, she's funny, she's witty, but she's also like, she writes these beautiful tender poems to her friends. They're poems of female friendship, and just please like go and read one. I'll link up, I'll leave the names of some of my favourites down below so you can take a look if you want to, but she's just, wow, she's amazing. I'm going to end the video there. I only answered YouTube questions this time, so next time I'll do Instagram. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Headspace for sponsoring today's video, and I hope that you have more than just a productive week. We're coming up to the first of season now. We're coming to the end of term as well, and I hope that your term has gone well. Let me know in the comment section the highlight of your term, the the most interesting thing that you learnt, or a friend that you made, or something that just made you smile on some gloomy October day. I'd love to know, so do let me know, and thank you for watching this video. As I say, it always feels very absurd that anyone would want to, but yeah, I appreciate you being here as always, and I hope that you have more than just a productive week.